Talk a little bit about myself. I'm 36 years old, a pretty old guy actually. I did 3 startups in the past. I launched my first startup when I was 26, and that company got acquired by a particular company. And I launched the second one with the same founders, and that is like YouTube-like video sharing website with built-in Flash editors, so that you can change links of videos, put text on it, put pictures on it, and it's like online version of iMovie. So that company is still running, and I was CTO of those 2 companies and also co-founders. The startup which I'm going to talk about is the actually 4th one, because I did a 3rd one, and that is completely failure. So 1 home run, 1 okay company, and 1 complete failure. So that's about me. And I'm not a complete iOS engineer. I'm a Python guy, and I was CTO. So I always talk about entrepreneurship and startup as a whole. So I'm not a 100% technical guy. So this startup, Quartify, is the Startup Weekend alumni project from Kyoto. How many of you knew about Startup Weekend, by the way? Have you ever attended? Okay, couple of them. Okay, so Startup Weekend is the 3-day event, just like this one. People just come together, work together, and build a prototype and ship the product in 3 days. So actually, the event starts on Friday night. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Friday night, and you build a team and work on the project and ship the project on Sunday night. It's just 3 days. It's very tough, 54 hours non-stop working without any sleep. So it's a very tough event, but this is how we launched our startup, Quartify. And right now we have, by the way, service itself is like marketplace for workspaces. So something like Room Rama. It's Airbnb, we call it the Airbnb for workspaces. So if you
show on my laptop the website that
if you can, yeah, please. Otherwise, I'll be just talking. So, and we had iOS application first, and Android application. It's actually a hybrid application. It's the HTML5 application. So it's same content, same applications, but it's on the iOS and Android, because these are like 2 native apps. So when you want to create hybrid apps, normally you have embedded web browsers inside the applications, and you render the content using HTML. But the problem is that if you have like Twitter-like toolbars on top and some buttons or icons at the bottom, then that becomes difficult, because you want to make it look like a native app, but here it's still using HTML5. So is it working? It doesn't work, it's okay. So what people do is that, you have native, like a toolbars written in Objective-C or Java or Android, and you render whatever the content using HTML, using embedded web browsers. So that's okay, as long as you're not changing icons or functionality at the toolbars at the top, or whatever the functionality at the bottom. But sometimes you have to make changes. Then as the other guy said, you have to resubmit the application to Apple or Android App Store, which is Google Play. Unfortunately, I cannot show my applications. Is it working?
Let me start.
Press one more time. Press one more time. One more.
So the application that we shipped is completely HTML5, but using the toolbars at the top and also another toolbar at the bottom. How do we do that? One way is using JavaScript called iScroll. Probably some of you guys have used iScroll.js. It's the little JavaScript library which you can do partial scrolling. So it's still one-page HTML, but you can scroll part of the page using JavaScript. That works well. But using iOS 5, and then today we have iOS 6, you can use the div tag with position fixed. That is the CSS property you can use in iOS 5 and iOS 6 onward. For Android, you can use that CSS in Android 4 onward. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So, is it working? So my application, actually on the server side, checks the user agent and look for the version number of the OS. If it's above iOS 5, then it renders the page using position fix div, so that you can fix the position of the toolbar at the top and also bottom, and you can still do posture scrolling. So it looks like native app, but it's still complete HTML5 applications. If the OS version is below 4, then it will switch to iScroll.js. Still looks like native app with the toolbar at the top, toolbar at the bottom, and you can still do posture scrolling too. Same for Android. If the version is above 4, then it will use position fix. If it's below 4, it will use iScroll.js. So using this technique, I can always update whatever the content in the main page, whatever the icons on the toolbars, or whatever the functionality at the bottoms, without resubmitting application to App Stores or Google Stores. So that's how we ship the product within 2 weeks, I guess. So because we want to test our hypothesis and the business models. We didn't care about the all the technologies and stuff. We just wanted to test our business models, and make sure it works. And then we started working on the fine-tuning UIs and the content and everything. So now we have a beautiful website and applications, which I cannot show it to you because machine is not working. So please check it later. So the thing I want to talk about is that don't stick with technical stuff too much, because startup, as he says, is the nature of changing. Because you keep changing your applications, product, and business model, and people just come in and they go out, and everything just keeps changing. So the first priority is that get out, put the product in front of people first. So you can use Objective-C for iOS applications. You can create a separate application using Java for Android. You can spend probably 2 months or 3 months working on this product and ship it. That is too late. Just to test your hypothesis, I think HTML5 is good enough. And just use embedded browsers, get it on the market, and let people test the AI applications. Then once you have working business model, then you can, create the same application using Objective-C or Java. So that is my understanding. That's how I see, development. So it's not entirely technical, but it's more about how you verify your startup, or how you look at the things as entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, I have a bunch of slides that I wanted to show you, but since my machine is not working, I think my presentation is now over. So I will accept the questions from you guys. Any questions?
What is the JavaScript framework again? The framework you are using?
On the server side?
Yeah.
We use Python, and the framework is called Pyramid. I'm not using Django. I used to use Django and the Turbo Gears and Pylons. Now I'm using a framework called Pyramid. It's more flexible. You can change whatever the modules. So it's the framework we are using right now. Any technical questions or something? All right. So thank you very much.